The UK film and TV sector is an international success story of the UK creative industry. There are so many films out there that were produced in the UK or TV programs that have been exported all over the world. As we can see, the film and TV sector of the UK have promoted not only the economic growth of this country but also the culture of the UK to the world. In 2015, it was reported by the UK government that the film and TV sector contribute to more than £5 billion of export value to the UK economy. The reason of the success of the film and TV sector is due to the fact that the UK government is very supportive towards developing the UK film and TV industry. There are film funds, organizations of public sectors that help contribute to the development of the industry. Organizations like the BFI, which stands for the British Film Institute, or the Creative Europe, contribute a lot of money to the promotion of UK film in Europe or European films in the UK. These organizations also contribute to help fund independent filmmakers in the UK or in Europe to have their film made. However, a lot of people in the industry are worrying about the perspective of the industry due to the decision of the UK to leave the European Union, which people called Brexit. A lot of people predict that a lot of changes in policy will lead to a lot of consequences to the filmmaking industry. Therefore, this video wanna look closer to give a deeper insight into the influence of Brexit on the filmmaking industry of the UK. First, considering the benefits of Brexit to the film industry in the UK. Since the Brexit vote has led to sharp fall in the value of the pound, which means that foreign studios and producers get better value when spending in the UK. The biggest winners here are the Hollywood studios, who have already been ramping up their UK production over the past decade. 15 years ago, inward investments such as film finance from non-UK sources accounted for under half of the amount spent in the UK films, whereas in 2016 it reached 85%. This means that the biggest short-term effect of Brexit, which is the falling pound, for example, has already helped the people supplying 85% of the money spent on productions in the UK. This will hopefully lead to an increasing number of productions based in the UK, meaning that more people will be employed, possibly driving up wages and growing the size of the UK film economy. However, there is still a concern here that this would mean that the film industry would be much more vulnerable to the currency shifts, something which is short-term and also completely out of the control of the people in the industry. Another opportunity that the UK film industry can turn into their advantage in post-Brexit is the ability to do new negotiation on free trade between the UK and other countries. As we all know, EU countries are bound together and agree to trade deals as one bloc. While this gives them strength and added power, it can also make the process much slower and not tailored to the need of a one country, which means that the UK will have a lot of difficulty and hassle dealing with all the trading policies that is not favorable for the UK itself or too complicated. Therefore, in post-Brexit, the UK could be free to carve out deals with only its own self-interest as its negotiating focus. However, this could also be a double-edged sword, as other nations may demand restrictions on aspects of UK film in future trade deal in case of hard Brexit. For example, the UK's film tax relief is proving very successful in luring big productions away from the US. So, it's possible that the US unions may lobby lawmakers to reduce the power of the film tax relief to protect the US jobs. Another benefit that Brexit may bring to the UK film industry is the ability to opt out of the EU new regulations on cross-border copyright. The EU is currently proposing a big change in how digital copyright operates within its borders. Currently, companies such as Netflix and iTunes can sell you a movie, song, or game in one country and prevent you from accessing it when you're abroad. The proposed single digital market would prevent companies from enacting location-specific restrictions within EU states, forcing them to treat the EU as one single territory. However, if this is advantageous to consumer, it could have a very harmful effect on producers and distributors on independent content. Brexit will mean that the UK is somewhat shielded from the worst effects of the single digital market. UK content sold in the EU will still be affected, but no more so than that of content from any other nation. Talking about this issue, a lot of critics of the plan say that the end of regional sale could end up rewarding only the big players, including digital platform giants like Netflix, Google, and Amazon. Bigger TV and film studios, especially from the US, would be able to strike one mega pan-European deal, they say, but mid-sized or local independent exhibitors or distributors could lose out. And a lot of people believe that the UK has the most to lose because many independent filmmakers have mastered how to create cross-border funding deals that fund distinctive, highly marketable TV. Exception options on the table include the idea of making content available cross-territory only after some exclusive windowing, thereby creating a sort of European digital content bank that any EU citizen could access. Programming could be offered across borders, but only after a period of territorial exclusivity. Now, let's listen to Mr. Poppert, the co-founder of the Flying Tiger film production and finance company in the UK, on the single digital market.
Yes, I think that the UK should opt out of the single European digital format, and I don't think it will succeed immediately. There is such strong opposition from France, from Germany, and these countries, even though they may want a United States of Europe, they do not want a United States of English-speaking Europe. So to everyone, their language is important. And also regional dialects are important. So the move to make everything English and bow down to Hollywood will be resisted very strongly. So that is one short-term benefit, is we won't be part of the single digital market, but I don't think that will happen quickly anyway. I think there will be pressure when Google and Facebook and Netflix and Apple are bigger than Europe, than bigger than the combined, that they're such nation states because they don't pay tax, that they will influence so that it will be made attractive, so that if you live in Paris, you can watch your films from your collection while traveling in Germany, but not much more than that. I think that there will be tremendous resistance to destroying national cinema. National cinema will survive.
Now, if you already think that it is the right choice for the UK to leave the EU, and Brexit would definitely be the good thing for the UK film industry, then you might want to think about it again, because there are as many threats and challenges that Brexit will bring to the UK film industry in post-Brexit. The very first apparent challenge that Brexit may bring to the UK film industry is the loss of freedom of movement within the labour market between the UK and European countries. It is probably the biggest worry of the UK film industry has in post-Brexit, because the freedom of movement allowed the UK to be able to hire EU nationals on the same basis as UK workers has been very advantageous to production shooting and completing in the UK. Also, it helped the UK film industry attract more talent in the visual effects and animation effects sectors, which is very scarce nowadays in the filmmaking industry. And the post-production and visual effects sectors will likely to be more badly hit, as they also require more freelancers with very specific skill in the UK. Another issue is the restriction on EU nationals will also affect the film industry in other ways, such as reducing the demand for the UK-based training courses. Restriction on the freedom of movement between the UK and the European nationals will also affect the film industry in other ways, such as reducing the demand for UK-based training courses due to difficulty in transportation between the UK and Europe. Also, it will reduce the ability of EU producers to shoot freely in the UK, thereby reducing the demand for employment and services within the film industry in the UK. Another loss for the UK film industry is the loss of money and financial support from the Creative Europe. As we all know, the Creative Europe, formerly called Media, has provided over €100 million towards various aspects of the UK film industry in the 7 years between 2007 and 2013. This spans training, development, co-productions, festivals, and theatrical distribution in both EU and UK. It is possible for the UK to rejoin the Creative Europe after Brexit, but this will require a new framework or policy to be negotiated and agreed. If the UK leaves the Creative Europe without replacing the money and support it provides, then it's an almost certainty that jobs will be lost and production will not be funded, mostly in the independent sector, thereby heavily reduce the employment rate. A lot of people do not know that the filmmaking industry in the UK benefits a lot from a variety of European film funds, such as the European Regional Development Fund, ERDF, which supports projects and activities which aim to reduce the economic disparity between member states, and the European Social Fund, ESF, which supports employment-based programs. Examples of film-related schemes that have benefited from this kind of EU money include the Advantage West Midlands Production Fund, £5.6 million, Greater Manchester Pro Connect, £352,000, and Hertfordshire Pro Connect, £500,000. The last challenge that Brexit might bring to the filmmaking industry in the UK is the removal of co-production financing and support. As we all know, a lot of British independent films take advantage of co-production arrangements with other European corporations, whereby a film can benefit from government schemes in multiple countries, such as the FDR in the UK and many other policies in other European nations. As we all can see, there are both challenges and benefits of Brexit to the filmmaking industry of the UK. However, for the independent filmmaking sector, the UK government needs to pay more attention and provide much more help in order to develop a healthier sector in the film industry. As we all can see, there are both challenges and benefits of Brexit to the filmmaking industry of the UK. However, for the independent filmmaking sector, the UK government needs to pay more attention and provide much more help in order to develop a healthier sector in the film industry.